Bamford in behind, and Patrick Bamford stabs the ball in. Rickes has scored. Shot, great ball through. Robert scores. Whips it in towards the near post area. It's gone past Botti. Llorente.
So Leeds got off to winning ways against Watford. We've had an international break, but now it's back to Premier League action with a trip down south to the Saints. There's lots to discuss, and this is the warm-up. Lots coming up this week with myself and Dom Matteo, including this.
It's gonna be unbelievable.
What's your first thought? Is it, oh, what a trek?
Is this a game I can get out of?
We haven't scored a goal in open play in the league since the 28th of August.
Well, it's all quiet in Ellen Road at the moment, but when that final whistle went against Watford, there was quite some noise in this place, Dom. It really erupted. What does a win do for the team?
Confidence, and also as well to see the fans smiling again. We've not seen that for a bit, have we? So it was great to see them. Obviously, I was working in the West Stand. It was, just here. So it was great to be around people happy, smiling faces. Leeds getting a win, and it was in the end it was probably a game we should have won comfortably, but it didn't turn out that way in the end. We just got it over the line, but that's what you've got to do sometimes. And it was a clean sheet as well. You know, I'm a stickler for them, and the more clean sheets you get, the more results we'll get.
Ahead of the international break, we'd said previously on the warm, but the last thing you want to do is go into that break without getting the win under the belt. But they've done it now. It means everyone can have gone off and relaxed a little bit more away from that. Yeah,
I think so. And I think that is the main thing. When you do go and play for your country, obviously you've got to enjoy it and you've got to do your best every time you get an opportunity. But also as well, you've got to look after yourself properly, which I think the players do so well now. Obviously, we've seen with the players who are away on international, they're coming back so late now. And trying to get ready for a game is very tough, but it's the way it's a modern footballer has to live now, and has to probably his lifestyle as well has changed definitely from when I was playing. So the lifestyle wise as well is huge, isn't it? Because lads are coming back, a couple of days before a big game, and they have to try and be ready and be focused. So that's the other important side of it that sometimes we don't see, but obviously from the club's point of view, they do see that, and they'll know who's right, and they'll be looking at all the stats and all the players and how they're performing in training, even though there's not much training they can do before this game kicks off.
Yeah, so 1-0 against Watford. For all the flair on the wings, for all the lovely touches from Rodrigo and everything else, it was a good old defender goal, bundled in from a set piece, Tommy.
I love it, I loved it. I must admit, to be fair to me as well, Llorente is the type of player I like. The way he plays, the style of plays, and we see his distribution as well, which was great to see as well. He's got a long pass in him as well, so he keeps the ball very well. And now getting the goal. And I think I've said it a few times, I didn't score many goals as a defender, and I was disappointed with myself for doing that. And I think nowadays the modern player has to try and chip in with a few, because you can't always rely on Patrick Bamford to get the goals all the time, and you have to have other players chipping in from different areas, especially at centre half. We've seen other clubs do it, so it's about time we started scoring goals from set pieces as well, and we did.
Yeah, managed to get one over the line. It was a good finish, to be fair, to Diego as well.
Yeah, it's clever. And I think it was persistent as well. He kept going, he kept looking for that little gap, and eventually it came, and he took his opportunity and slotted it away well. So
many of the players have been away on international break. We need to mention Rafinha, don't we? I mean, he's sensational, isn't
Yes.
he? The Brazil game, he came on against Venezuela. They were losing 1-0. He single-handedly almost turned that game around, involved pretty much in all the goals.
Yeah, incredible talent. And I think when you talk about Brazilian footballers, he epitomises that, doesn't he? The way he plays with this kind of swagger. And I just think he's a brilliant player. And his performances, like you say, whether he's coming on or he's starting, he seems just to make it work. He's very clever for a young player. And I think the world's his oyster, if that's the right word. He's a brilliant talent, and also I think he gets it as well to play when you're playing for Leeds United. He understands it. He loves that kind of passion that the Leeds fans have, and you can see by his performances. He's disappointing if we don't get a result, and the way he performed in that 1-0 victory as well. I know he got taken off because obviously he put a shift in, and you can see his disappointment in that as well, which I like in a player. When they're disappointed when they get taken off as well. So, brilliant player, and long may that continue.
OK, let's take a look at the Premier League fixtures that are coming up. Leeds, obviously, at Southampton. You're looking down that list, Dom, you think, one that you might fancy going to if you weren't sort of more involved in this one. What's the one that stands out?
I think probably Everton, West Ham for me. I think two clubs who are going in the right direction. Obviously, we got beat ourselves, didn't we, against West Ham at home? So that was disappointing. But
Thanks
I think
for bringing that one up.
No, but I'm just giving people an insight. That maybe where we need to get to and where they've gone to. It's like about stepping stones, isn't it? And I think them two clubs are on the right stepping stones. Obviously, Benitez is a clever manager. Moyes a clever manager. We've got an unbelievable manager. So it won't be long before we are getting them results as well. But at the moment, they're just two clubs who are doing well. And obviously, the two managers are very important for them.
Okay, there's absolutely lots coming up in the warm-up. We'll be finding out a little bit more Southampton, taking a look at the Leeds United team news as well. But before we do that, we mentioned Diego Llorente. He's had a good week. He got his goal for Leeds United, and also he's been taking part, far more importantly, in the 9 Darts Challenge.
I am Diego Sniper Llorente, and this is gonna be unbelievable.
So last time out down at Southampton, it was 2-0 to Leeds with goals from Patrick Bamford and Tyler Roberts. Thought we might take a look at some classic games we've played down there. I mean, it's a long way to travel, isn't it? When that fixture comes up and you look at it, Dom, what's your first thought? Is it, oh, what a trek?
Is this a game I can get out of? No, I'm only joking. No, I think it was always, when I played, obviously before it was what it is now, St Mary's, it was the
Dell.
The Dell, there you go. Thank you very much.
No worries.
No, so the Dell was, for me, it was a tough place to play. So I think it's a bit nicer now. But I always thought, I like the old stadiums. I've always been a fan of that. So when I'm talking about the Dell, it was always a hard place to play. And they had some great players, didn't they? Matt Letizia, people like him. The goals he used to score, unreal.
Let's look at it now, because for Leeds United, team news, Marcelo Bielsa's press conference, Calvin Phillips, we're not sure yet. He's hoping will be available for the game. We know Patrick Bamford is out. We know Rafinha has been away with Brazil, and we're just going to have to see whether he'll have any involvement at all. So still some quandaries, still some things. We're not quite back to where we want to be in terms of the squad strength just yet with injuries and suspensions we've had.
Yeah, I mean, we've still got players who are capable of obviously playing and getting those results. But I think the players you've just mentioned are 3 of our key players. So let's hope they can all be playing. Obviously, Bamford's probably the one that's probably not going to just make it, might just miss out. I think the other 2 have probably got a chance. If Rafinha's fit and the manager wants to play him, well, let's see, wait and see on that one, because obviously it's a short turnaround, isn't it, for him? So you've got to think about the player as well with that.
Of course, Southampton desperate for their first win of the season as well. That's dragging on for them, isn't it? Though we had that feeling, we've got over that now, but they'll look at this and actually they'll look at it and think, well, if we win, we leapfrog Leeds.
Yeah, and it's, obviously they were kind of the draw specialists for a while, weren't they? They kept getting draws, and obviously tough game against Chelsea, but at times he did all right in that game, but obviously didn't get the result. So I think Southampton, obviously I think any team who's not had a win, we were there for a while, weren't we? Let's be honest, and it was tough, and we're just waiting for that first win to come. Then the confidence comes with that. So let's hope that we keep the momentum and they don't, because whoever wins that game, like you said, will probably go above them. So I think it's a big game for both clubs, and I think maybe if you look at the betting, because I always have a little cheeky look, at the moment it's pretty even. So I think no one really knows which way that game is going to go, and maybe that is about which team that Marcelo Bielsa actually picks.
Yeah, we'll be taking a look at that Southampton team that might be facing us down there at St Mary's. But before we do, our very own Jack Durkin has wanted to find out a little bit more about this week's opposition. So we've sent him behind enemy lines.
Today we're joined by Mike, a Saints fan and channel owner of Matchday Vlogs. Mike, thanks a lot for coming on, mate.
Thanks for having me on.
Who do you think your danger man's going to be for us this weekend?
I actually think it's going to come back from the right back position with Timo Livramento. And he's a fantastic start to the season. Picked him up from Chelsea for £5 million, and she's probably been our best signing in so many years, really. In terms of danger men up front, we haven't scored a goal in open play in the league since the 28th of August. So that's going to be our real challenge, is the fact that we're not scoring goals. We've got the threat of the fact that, well, Shea Adams is out injured for this fixture, so we will have the choice of either Adam Armstrong and Armando Broja up front. But you might see Hassan, who will play a one-man up front kind of thing, really.
It's been a difficult one for us this season. What have you made of it so far?
Yeah, I mean, I did a Q&A with another Leeds channel earlier on in the week, and I asked a very similar question, really, because I think, you guys came out of last season absolutely bouncing, talking about European football, and then we've kind of had a similar start to this season. And it's sort of, I think when you hear the likes of Rafinha might not feature in the side and Patrick Bamford out, it gives you a bit of confidence that you guys might struggle to score as well. So really, I think it's going to be a challenge because, the last two times we played you, it's 3-0 at Ellen Road and 2-0 back at St Mary's, which was the first fixture back in front of fans, by the way. So that was pretty brutal to go back to the world of football and have Patrick Bamford stood in front of you doing this. So yeah, thanks so much for that. But it's definitely going to be a challenging game, but it's going to be down to the fact that it was cliche, but you got to score goals to win games. And that will be, I think, both sides' challenges, really. So, if we can get at least a goal, we might get something out of this game, but I see it being a narrow win, if anything.
So let's look a little bit more in-depth then at the opposition with Southampton. We mentioned 2005. Here's one for you, Dom. They had a player playing that day in that game that could play against us this weekend.
Interesting.
Got an assist that day, I think, as well.
Right. Well, my memory's not too great, so you may be asking the wrong person.
Theo Walcott.
Theo Walcott?
Yeah,
yes.
He's played that season as well.
So, yeah, I do remember that, obviously.
So there you go. Played very well. So, he's in the mix there. They've got some attacking players, but we do know that Shea Adams is going to be out, and he's been very much at the forefront of their two up front that they've played for a lot so far this season. That's a big loss for them, along with James Ward-Prowse as well.
Yeah, I mean, Ward-Prowse is a massive loss. He's key, isn't he? Obviously, England international now as well. So, yeah, I think Southampton are one of those teams that when they're on it, they're at it, and they're a really good team to watch. But when they're not at it at the moment, like we're talking about now, they haven't been getting good results. And that's probably because of the injuries they've had and key players. And I think even the centre forwards, you look at the centre forwards, people are asking to play out of position slightly. And obviously Shea Adams not playing is obviously a big loss. But the players who are going to play, in my opinion, aren't really out-and-out strikers. So they're maybe being asked to play in a position that they're not really used to, or probably the favourite positions. So I think they've got a lot to work out. Obviously, he's a decent manager. I like the manager. Hasenhüttl.
Hasenhüttl, yeah.
Yes. I do like him as a manager, and I think he speaks really well and very honest. And I do like the way he talks, but he'll know himself they need to get a result, just like Leeds do. But Leeds have had a win. The confidence should be up there. And I think for Southampton, their confidence is low. So maybe it's a decent time to actually play against Southampton at the moment. But you also know as well that they're always a difficult opponent. No, there's no easy games in the Premier League, but I think with Southampton under that manager, he'll be demanding a result this weekend.
A lot of people have been talking about the 18-year-old Livramento.
Yeah.
And the full-back position.
Yeah.
Stats really good this season, and he's really attacking, bringing the ball forward. He's pretty much number one in the Premier League for those kind of runs so far. So he's definitely one to watch, isn't he?
Yeah, 18. I mean, that's some stats, isn't it, for an 18-year-old? So, I mean, Southampton are probably trying to keep hold of him now after them stats you just said. But, yeah, he's obviously a talented player at full-back. He likes to get forward with every opportunity. He makes goals. I think he's kind of a bit of an all-round player. It seems at the moment for me, from any club, there seems like full-back position. We've got abundance of full-backs all over the place at the moment. And he's another one that's come out of nowhere for me. I didn't know too much about him until you guys told me about him. Obviously, I've seen him play. It looks like he's a good player. It looks like he's a talent. But it'd be one that Southampton will want to keep hold of, I suppose. It's like same at Leeds. We've got great players we need to keep hold of. And that'll be another one that Southampton will want to keep as well.
And just from a Leeds point of view, is it a case of starting that game strong? They haven't won yet. There'll be a nervousness around there. The crowd will feel it if we can get off to a good start. For sure. The early part of this game is massive. I always say that in any game, to be honest, is to start well. And if you start well against a team who's low on confidence, you can sometimes use that to your advantage, and that's important that we do that. Okay, I don't want to worry you too much, but the deadline is looming if you're picking your fantasy football team for this week. Who are going to be the picks of the week? Here are some suggestions from Luke.
Here are your 5 top picks for your FPL this weekend. Number 1, Cesar Azpilicueta. A reliable pick for your defence, he started all 7 of Chelsea's matches so far, and Chelsea's next 4 games are against Brentford, Norwich, Newcastle and Burnley. Will he pick up a couple of clean sheets and maybe another assist from these 4 games? Number 2, João Cancelo. The highest scoring defender but only the 7th most chosen for FPL teams. And against a Burnley side who are yet to win a game, another clean sheet might be on the cards. Number 3, we're going for another Man City player in Gabriel Jesus. He's managed 41 points already this season, and a home game against Burnley might see him earn quite a few more. I'll be putting him in my team. Will you be getting him in yours? Number 4, Mohamed Salah. It's an obvious choice, but Salah is the leading points grabber with 21 points more than Antonio, who's in 2nd place. If you don't have him in your team, you are missing out. And finally, for number 5, we're going for another reliable pick in Stuart Dallas. Dallas has started all 7 of Leeds United's games so far. He's a cheap option for your midfield and he's been known to provide the goods for Leeds many times. No goals so far this season, but will game week 8 get him his first?
So Leeds looking then for their 2nd league win of the season. Dom, are you feeling confident going into this?
I am. Yeah, I think obviously when you've had that first win, it's great for everyone. And like I said, confidence is massive in football. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the game. Obviously, it's a long way, but let's hope we can get the result and get home and look forward to the Wolves games. The Wolves game after that. Yeah, the Wolves game.
You try saying that this time of the day. Wolves and Norwich, of course. We pinpointed these with the Watford one, didn't we? A bit like Southampton, they've played some of the teams at that top end of the league as well. This is the chunk that we looked at and said, right, let's see where we're at the end of October. It's another huge game and it's a chance to build momentum.
It is. Momentum again for Leeds United as a club is huge, and getting that 3 points was massive. And I think now, can we grow upon that? Can we get another win? Going to Southampton and not getting beat again would be a decent result in my opinion. But I think it is a game that maybe the managers looked at and thought, we can get a result here and we can definitely get 3 points. And the way he tries to play anyway, he tries to win every game. We don't seem to get too many draws, but I think it's one that I definitely think we can get a result in, and obviously then look forward to the games after that as well, because they're all winnable games, the ones we've just discussed. And I think when you get an opportunity to play against maybe a lesser club or a lesser team, sometimes we have slipped up against them. So these are the ones we have to make sure we get it right.
Score prediction. Have to ask you. I know you don't like it, but then we can reference them back afterwards.
I know I did say possibly a draw, but I think we will just nick this, and I think it will be probably 1-0 to Leeds.
Okay, if we're travelling back up with a 1-0 win, I think we'll all be very happy.
Very happy.
Dom, thanks as always. Leeds United travelling to Southampton. It's another big game, isn't it? LUTV has your coverage. Bryn Laws on commentary alongside Tony DeRigo as always.